Okay. The healing process began when I joined a support group for victims of being on fire.
So have you been doing well lately?
Well, I was really down. Like, I felt like my heart was just like, it felt like my heart was being corrupted.
Corrupted, really?
Yeah, and it was all corrupted like apples, like very savvy apples.
Oh yeah, that gets really tough.
And so I decided, just all of a sudden, I woke up and I said, this is intolerant. I'm gonna go to those glory holes in the South and join a very desensitized support group. But they didn't really have any good ones. So like there was this one that was about famine. And you read the thing too, like.
Yeah, I've seen one about screaming like a maniac.
Yeah, there was one about establishing dominance. There was another one about shapes and colors, which I'm pretty sure was for kids.
And then there's Velcro Aholics Anonymous.
Yeah, and then there was some new, like you could get a new shot of morphine.
Ooh, yeah.
But that was sort of like people who were really at the end of their rope. And I was just like, I wasn't there yet. I was actually feeling pretty trustworthy most of the time.
Really?
And
so did you find one that was appropriate?
Yeah, there was one about being on fire, and where like they had this area where like everyone sat down and joined hands, and we were all circled around the placenta.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
And
very unorthodox.
And it's supposed to make everyone relax and feel more youthful. Because like the placenta, that's where all the nutrients happens at the beginning of life, and it just makes everyone faithful.
Well, it's a lot more appropriate than putting an entire peanut butter and jelly sandwich into a VCR, which is very inappropriate.
Yeah. Or Andre the Giant's enormous leathery scrotum.
True, yes.
That was next door.
I saw a PowerPoint presentation on it.
You saw a PowerPoint presentation.
Well, anyway, so the support group's been helping?
Yeah, the first time everyone was, this one person next to me was just like saying over and over again the sweet song of sword against sword and betraying of mighty war beasts. I can't remember the tune.
I do love it. It's better than doing the right stuff to her nipples.
Yeah. Surprisingly orgasm-inducing.
Really?
Yeah.
And this is for being on fire support group.
Yeah, and the leader had such a peaceful voice. She was just so fat.
Really?
And I think maybe she was going to go into the other support group with the buddies.
Maybe she'll join my support group. I've been going to an all-midget production of Shakespeare's Richard III. So.
And
it's been
is that because of your problem with enormous Scandinavian women?
Yes.
And fabricating statistics?
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, it's an ass disaster, but it's helping.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like being a dinosaur, it actually helps you in these classes. Well, they're not really classes, they're support groups, but they can be a bit old school.
True, but you know, the important thing is that you're actually feeling better, and that's good. That's great, actually.
Yesterday I just felt so good, and I just wanted to conquer the day in a very difficult way, because I'm like, life isn't treating me very well, so I'm just gonna live like Judge Judy.
Live like Judge Judy.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Casey? This is the third time you've been sent to the principal's office for sudden poop explosion disease. I brought you in here to talk about your son.
My son?
Yeah, there's been several incidences recently where he was once in math class dividing by 0, and then just all of a sudden this huge, displeasing sound came out of his rear end, and he just sort of shot across the hall with this line of brown behind him.
Are you talking about my son's exploding poop disease?
Oh, so he has that.
Yes.
You didn't fill that out on the health form.
Well, I don't think I had to.
Are you a sad fat dragon with no friends?
No. My son is perfectly philosophical. I didn't need to sign any form.
Is that why you just wrote oranges in each spot?
I was really hungry and I was craving oranges on that day.
I should really tell my staff to read those forms before we start accepting children. This is going to end up like the events depicted in James Cameron's Avatar, with all these disasters.
Your horny accusations
What are you saying?
are misplaced, ma'am.
You remind me of Stephen Hawking talking dirty.
Well, you have a surprising amount of hair.
I'm a gender identity that can change only can only be conveyed through slam poetry. So why wouldn't I have a lot of hair? I'm just knowledgeable. But we're not talking about me. We're talking about your son and gladiatorial combat, apparently. Because I feel like talking about
Listen, my son may be a destructive, disappointing salad. But there's nothing wrong with the disease that he's inflicted with.
But he's making everything so sloppy. Like, I can't pay my janitorial staff that. He just gets so excited when there's messes like that. I can't control him.
Don't be so narrow-minded. You can't stop it. It's like an unstoppable wave of fire ants. You can't keep it from happening.
Well, it's like trying to expect exactly what you'd expect. It's hard to keep up with it. Like, can't you just strap a bucket onto his ass? Like, one that's really thick?
Listen. All my friends are dying. And that has nothing to do with my son. But I've had a rough morning, okay? My son is
Fearless.
extraordinary.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need to be sent to the principal's office for having a disease.
Well, at least he doesn't have the boners of the elderly. Because we would have to suspend him for that. Because that would just make everyone scrumdiddlyumptious.
My son has that ass.
Well, I know, that ass is causing problems like a slightly shittier parallel universe. Because that's how violent all these explosions are. He's disrupting a parallel universe with this honest, exploding poop disease.
Just be a little bit more forgiving with my son. It's his disease is very rare and unpredictable.
Yeah, well, but can't you just see if it's his diet or something to do with social justice warriors with flamethrowers of compassion?
I'll get Big Bird to look into it, but I don't think he's gonna find anything else besides, like, self-confident drums in his head.
Well, the problem is when this happens, it makes everyone throw up, so then there's this even bigger mess.
Well, how about you try shutting the fuck up?
Hey! That's very high-pitched of you to say. You are soft-spoken, elegant, and appropriate. These are not insults in any way. I just think you're genuine and modified and intricate and luscious.
Sorry, I can be a little bit miserable at times.
I can tell.
I let my temper and tolerance get to me.
Yes, you've statistically validated many stereotypes here. Like your rage problems here. You're like giving birth to the Antichrist. which I think your son may just as well be.
Listen, my son, I know my son is dead. Okay?
Well, he's gotta be. He's quite submissive about this.
Like I said earlier, I'll take him to Big Bird. I'm sure he'll be quite torturous. And we'll get this thing resolved and certifiable for the school.
Oh, I know this doctor that does sledding therapy. And
I'm sure that'll be very motivating.
yeah, he can be a bit vicious though. I mean, this doctor is Darth Vader. So
I think sometimes it can be a bit distracting and vast, but by the end of it, my son can be quite lean. I think we got off on the wrong foot, and this is a very typical situation, and we've got this, I've got this under control. I'm going to take him to Big Bird. Now, would you like to go eat Tom Selleck's mustache to gain his powers?
I think that's abandoned and cheesy.